Hey everybody. Today I'm joined with Caitlin and we're going to go over some lower body exercises. They're going to build big strong legs and fat juicy asses. Cut that. We're going to start out by testing Caitlin's ankle mobility.
Cause it's shitty.
Because it's shitty. What you want to do is have your foot about 3 inches away from the wall, 3 to 4 inches. And then make sure you can keep your foot flat on the ground, hips squared towards the wall, and then you're going to bend your knee as far as you can and see how, that's great. See how close your knee gets to the wall. So that's
I couldn't
good.
do that last week.
You couldn't do that last week. Have you been practicing your ankle mobility?
Yes.
There's a lot of banded ankle mobilization shit out there on the internet. Some's good, some's not as good. There's a few minor things that people often miss, and we're gonna talk about that right now. So with this band, you wanna have a good, thick band, a lot of resistance on it. You wanna have an elevated surface, and then anchor that band below your elevated surface. And to help her out, there you go. So a lot of times you'll see people with a band around the shin. You want it across the top of your foot. So to help her out, there you go. Put it down on the top of your foot, keeping your foot flat, hips squared, and now she's just going to lean into it and try to push her knee as far over her toe as she can, while maintaining a flat foot and her hips are squared forward. Yeah. You want to hang out here for about a minute on each ankle. Okay. So Caitlin tells me that she squats normally right here, very narrow stance, toes forward, totally fine. If you have the hip and ankle mobility to get there, go ahead, give us a squat as low as you can. Okay, pretty close to parallel, good back angle, nice, stand up. And if we want to get a little bit lower and squat more so for performance, I'm going to have you take a wider stance. There you go, a little bit wider. Good, now point your toes out. Yeah, and now from here, I want you to squat. And can you see the difference? You can see the difference, big difference there, come on up. So that opens up her hips and allows the femurs to move nicely so she can get into the bottom of a squat. Now we've elevated Caitlin's heels, so her heels are in contact with the plate, balls of her toes are in contact with the floor, and from right here she's got that same narrow stance, but her toes are pointed out just a little bit. And from here, Caitlin, go ahead and squat. And you can see there's a tiny bit of rounding in the low back, but she is able to get super deep, ass to grass, able to sit all the way down. Go ahead, stand up, strong. I hear those knees crack. Yeah. Do that again, sit down slow, and then stop when I tell you. Pause here. Come up with just a little bit, right there. So her hip is just below her knee. You can see she's shaking because she's under a lot of tension right now. Stand up. Good, relax. And just 2 more squats. Good. Nice solid back angle. Hips are getting down below parallel. If you have ankle issues, if you have hip mobility issues, a lot of times elevating your heels is a really great solution for you. Go ahead and we're going to set up into what's called a 1.5 squat now. So Caitlin's got her feet all the way together. She's going to rotate one foot out on the heel and then pivot on the toe. And from here, this is her 1.5 or kickstand stance. All of her weight, all of her tension is going to be on her right leg on the far side. And from here, she's really just squatting on one leg. And then this leg is set up as a kickstand. So go ahead and show us a squat. And that's also her bad leg, so that's about as low as she's going to get because her ankle. So this is a really great way to test, do I have enough range of motion in my ankle or my hip? And then, yeah, so let's give her one more rep. And stand. Very good, very good. Now turn and face me. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Testing out the good leg now. She's able to get so much lower in this squat. Yeah, really great single leg variation. You can weight this, you can do a body weight. It's going to kill your quads. So from here, how I like to set up for the Bulgarian split squat, that's what we're doing, is with your legs touching a bench, box, implement, whatever, take a casual step away, and then put your rear foot elevated on top of the box.
Casual.
That was a big step. So from here, Bulgarian split squat, there you go. And keep going, just rep it out. You can see that Her knee is staying relatively over the top of her ankle, so a vertical shin. This is gonna be a lot more glute hamstring focus. And if she were to bring her front foot back a little bit, there you go, and really push her knee over her toe, this is gonna hit a lot more quad. And again, because she got shitty ankles, but we're fixing that, she may not be able to get her knee super far over her toe. So if you have shitty ankles, that's okay. Like we did before, we can elevate the heel.
I'm gonna do it all over again. Here.
Let's give this a shot. Yeah, so from this standing position, what I want you to think about is send your hips back just a little bit and then squat down, pushing your knee forward over your toe. Good, and come on up. 2 more reps. Good, forward torso angle. 1 more rep. And all the way up, good, relax. All right, you see that very vertical torso, very upright torso? Nothing wrong with that, all good. Go ahead, stand up. And so again, really think about pushing your hips back and then let your chest come forward a bit more. And where do you feel it now?
My glutes.
Your glutes. Stand up. Where'd you feel it before?
My quad.
Quads. Both really great muscles. You need to train them, both important. What do you want to train more, glutes or quads?
Quads.
Fuck yeah. All right, keep training quads. I dig that. But if you want to train glutes, remember, hips go back a bit more. Forward torso, you're going to get a greater stretch on the glute. And then once you get to that bottom position, you have to drive out with the glute. Let's talk about RDLs, the Romanian deadlift. That's what RDL stands for. This is a hinge pattern movement. It's going to happen about the hip. So Caitlin just divulged to me that she does not do RDLs. So from here, starting out, we're gonna do this with dumbbells. She's holding them by her sides. Some people like to hold them out in front. It may hit a little bit different. Everybody's different. She's gonna keep her feet firmly planted on the ground, brace her core, soft tiny bend in the knees, and then she's gonna push her butt back, 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 back. Knuckles to kneecaps, feel a stretch in the back of your leg. Yeah, and then stand up tall. That's it. A few more reps here. So her movement looks fucking awesome. The one thing that I like to cue is eyes down. So the eyes follow your head and your shoulder, I'm sorry. Yeah, your head follows your eyes, your shoulders follow your head. So eyes down.
They're down.
Okay, stand up tall. And keep your head down. So tuck your chin a bit, right there. Yes, so now her head is in line with her spine as her hips travel backwards. Very good, very good. So with the RDL, a lot of ways to fuck this up. A lot of people do, and that's okay. That's why you're here. You want to fix it. So one common mistake is that as they hinge, they allow the weight to get really far away from their body, and Caitlin's going to demo that. Yeah, so every inch that weight is away from your center of gravity, it's another 15% load on your low back. That's a bad day. So go ahead, stand up. Yeah. Another thing is people round their backs excessively. Go ahead and show them a rounded. There's a lot of argument to go on with this, but we're not going to get into that today. Go ahead, stand up. So we want to keep a much flatter back if we can. My personal favorite, what's the opposite of favorite?
Least favorite?
Least favorite is people go way too fucking low, so much range of motion. Go ahead all the way down. Former gymnast, good for you. I can't do that. So what do you feel here? Anything?
I feel a good stretch.
You feel a good stretch. So when I do that, I feel pain, tons of pain. Not everybody's the same. Go ahead, stand up. A lot of times you can keep your legs totally locked out and a super flat back. This is as far as I'm going. Can't go past this, but she can. So right there, you're not really training your hamstrings or your glutes. A lot of low back stuff going on. It's up for debate. Single leg RDLs. So this is it's a great movement, and again, fucked up by a lot of people, and that's okay. So Caitlin's gonna show us a single leg RDL. From here, hold your weight, and then hinge, but keep your back foot off the ground. And you can see she's got a fairly vertical shin, bit of bend in the knee. There is some movement in the hip, that's good. Solid back, eyes down, head down. Very good, very good. You feel a lot of glute here?
Yes.
Okay, because that is, you feel the glute because you have bend in the knee. So I want you to bend your knee less. Allow your hips to travel back. Good. Very stable. So let's demonstrate a really poorly done single leg RDL with the back leg coming up off the ground. This far hip, as she hinges down, go ahead, is going to rotate out. So we want to manage rotation, try to keep our hips in line as best we can. If this is happening, come on back up. Tons of really simple fixes that we can do. So show them that kickstand, that 1.5. There you go. So now a lot of the stress is still going to be on this working leg, but she doesn't have to worry about balance and managing rotation as much because her other foot is on the ground. Hips are traveling back, glutes and hamstrings are working, and coming on up. Good. And if you're absolutely hell-bent on getting your back leg off the ground, just support yourself with a chair or a bench. Go ahead and grab onto this. Back leg comes off the ground now. You can go all the way. You got some extra stability. That's all good. It's all good stuff.